Welcome to Not Starving Artist, the podcast. I'm your host, Brooke Benson, money coach and equity actor. I am your financial cheerleader, here to help you build your financial confidence and have power over your money. The best part, no budgeting or bi-weekly paychecks required. I went from being a broke BFA grad having weekly panic attacks about money to a financially confident, wealth-building actor and business owner. Money gets to feel fun, simple, and sexy, and I am going to show you how. Welcome. I am so excited for you to be here today because today we are talking about how to be your own sugar daddy. Now, as we start, I want to be very clear about what being your own sugar daddy means. It's basically just financial self-sufficiency, not needing to depend on anyone else financially except for yourself. And I've been seeing this TikTok trend going around of like, I'm done, I'm tapping out, I'm just going to get a sugar daddy and be a bimbo on the beach. And I love that energy, right? I love that energy of like, we're giving up the hustle, fuck this game. I just want to get paid and chill. And that's incredible. I just want you to be the sugar daddy, right? I don't want someone else to be holding the purse strings. I want you to be the main bitch in charge. I don't want anyone else to be able to cut you off. I want you to have that full self-sufficiency because with that comes so much freedom and ease. Like this doesn't have to be a burden of responsibility of like, now I have to be financially sufficient and I have to be a responsible adult now and take care of myself. No, you get to choose if you want it to feel that way. Or you can choose to feel like main bitch in charge. I've got freedom. I make my own decisions. Nobody else has veto power over me. I've got myself. I back myself. That gets to have an energy of lightness and excitement and freedom rather than the energy of like, this is a burden. This is a responsibility. And being your own sugar daddy, we're going to talk about the two areas that you need to focus on when it comes to this. We've got the tactical piece, like the actual strategy and money in the bank. And then we've got the identity piece, the mindset, the thoughts. We've got to have both of these. And with the thoughts of being your own sugar daddy, I want you to have the energy of, I love being my own sugar daddy. It's so easy to be my own sugar daddy. My money's got me. I'm good. We're feeling light. We're feeling free instead of like, oh, I just want to stop taking care of myself. I just don't want, you get to choose which energy you want it to be in. Okay. So why do I want you to be your own sugar daddy? Because I want you to be able to say yes to anything. I don't want money to be the reason you can't have something that your gut is telling you you want or you need. I want you to be able to say yes to everything. I don't want you to have to need anyone again. It means not having to tell yourself no. It means that if you want something, you can have it. It means nobody else has veto power. It means you are the main bitch in charge. Right? Like it gets to be such this powerful, fun feeling where everything is a yes if you want it to be. Now, let me be very clear about what this means. This doesn't mean that you're just going to be able to like, you want to spend all your money and you're going to utilize all the money you have access to and like all these things I just want to buy and have and have and have and have. The energy of this is that you're making everything a yes so you can actually hear and decide what you truly want. You're clearing the fog of no, I can't afford it. Someone else is going to feel weird about that. Like you're clearing the fog of all of that so that you have clear space and capacity for your intuition and your gut to pipe up and be like, that, I want that. Say yes to that. You can hear it so clearly when you've already made everything a yes. When you're in your brain, tangibly and in your thoughts, know that you don't have to say no to anything ever again because you are the one holding the purse strings. You are the one that has unlimited access to money, right? And we're going to talk about how to increase your accessibility to money. That's the tactical part, increasing your actual accessibility to dollars that you can utilize and spend. Now, being your own sugar daddy too, this isn't an energy of toxic independence of like, yep, I'm the main bitch in charge and I'm putting myself in a box and I am just focused on me and like, this is it. I don't need anyone. It's just me, right? That's not the energy either. And we see that a lot. Financial independence, financial self-sufficiency as a woman is seen so much, especially in those Hallmark movies, but in cartoons, in society, in whatever. It's like, she's a cold bitch. If she's financially self-sufficient, she's independent, she doesn't need anyone, she's cold, she's the ice queen. That's the energy that we are seeing everywhere. And that is not how it has to be. Financial self-sufficiency puts you in power over your money, so that way you can show up powerfully to all of the people in your life, your partner, your family, your friends, your community, the people you want to support. Being financially self-sufficient actually makes you like more of a helper and a loving presence, and like puts you more into the relationships that surround you rather than secludes you from them. Like, I think about me and my partner. I love being financially self-sufficient. I love being my own sugar daddy because I know that I can live in this apartment by myself. I know I can live in New York City on my own. I know that my lifestyle I can afford on my own. My money is mine. My money is separate. We're good. Like, I've got myself. And also emotionally, I'm going to be good if I'm alone. With all of that being said, and all of that in my body, that means that when I show up to my relationship with my man, it is truly because I'm obsessed with him, because I actually really love this other human being. And there is no other reason that I am with him besides the fact that I freaking love him, that I think he's so cool, that he's fucking hot, right? Like, those are all the reasons that I'm with him. He's also a really kind, generous, amazing, incredible human being. Those are the reasons that I'm with him. So me being my own sugar daddy actually solidifies and allows me to show up in my relationship just so much more loving and open, because I know that's the only reason why I'm with him, because I think he's so cool, right? That's why I'm with him. And like with your family, when you've got no strings attached, when you're your own sugar daddy and you've got nothing attached to your family members, like you've got yourself, you're financially self-sufficient. Two things can happen. You are same thing with a partner. Like, you're building relationships with your family just because you love them, not because you need to or because you have to. And two, if you don't have a great relationship with your family, if you need to set boundaries, you can, because you don't need them financially. You can set those boundaries and make things healthier for all parties involved. I'm really lucky that I have a fantastic relationship with my parents and my sister, right? And I know that I get to show up fully for those relationships because like I've got myself. Same with my community and my friends and the people I want to like serve and help and support. Like, the self-sufficiency energy helps you show up differently for your people. Because also, when you're financially self-sufficient and you can say yes to anything you want, you walk about the world differently. You have confidence, you are more joyous, right? You're not burdened by like financial anxiety and like, what can I afford? And like, can I do? You're not burdened by any of that. Your brain space is freed up. So you can bring more brilliance, not just to your relationships, but to the world. So being your own sugar daddy is going to ripple out into like relationships and the world too. Becoming your own sugar daddy and being financially self-sufficient is the least selfish thing that you can do, because it has that ripple effect, because it affects how you show up in the world. Money touches everything. So again, this is about increasing accessibility to money so that everything's a yes. So we're clearing the fog of no, so your gut can tell you what to do. Again, there's going to be another podcast episode coming soon about intuitive money management, so that your intuition and your gut can tell you what you want to do with your money, how you want to manage your money. But you can't hear it when you've got this fog of financial anxiety, when you've got this fog of like, I can't afford shit, or someone's paying, for me to do this, or I depend on this one specific thing, and like all that is foggy. We're going to clear the fog. So how we clear the fog? We're doing tactical things and we're doing thought work things. So I want to talk about the tactical now. There's 3 main C's when it comes to being your own sugar daddy. The 3 C's are cash, comp, and credit. Cash, money in the bank, liquid cash that you can access. Comp, compensation, income, how you're getting paid, how you're bringing money in. And the third is credit, lines of credit cards, loans, mortgages, all that good stuff. So the reason that I want you to feel solid in these 3 C's and increase your accessibility and your reach in these 3 C's is because when you do that, you make everything a yes, and then your gut can tell you yes or no. When everything is in arm's reach, it's very clear what you actually want and what you don't. When you can grab anything, my foot fell asleep. When you can grab anything and everything that you desire, your arms, your hands are actually going to start being like, wait, do I actually want to grab that? I'm not quite sure, right? It will be very clear what your arm then immediately is like, yes, 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 that thing, that experience, that whatever. It gets so clear. The fog is cleared, right? But we're trying to reverse engineer it most of the time, where we're looking just at the cash in the bank and we're like, okay, what can I afford? What within these confines of what I'm currently seeing in my current situation, what can I afford? What's available to me? Instead of looking at what you actually have access to expand your vision of what you want and what's possible. Looking just at the cash that is immediately in your checking and savings account, and that being how you're making all your decisions, is going to keep you small. It's not going to be a very fun life that you're envisioning, which is why I want you to start envisioning not just your ability to have anything you want, but actually in the numbers, in your physical access to money, increasing it. So you can actually see like, no, I have access. We'll talk about calculating your sugar daddy number at the end of this episode, but you can actually see how much access to money you truly have. So then your gut can be like, yep, I want that. I want that. I want that. It's never a, can I have it? It's a, I can have it. How do I want to make it happen within the 3 C's? So the 3 C's here, cash, comp, and credit, I'm going to do a separate episode for each of these 3 C's where we can really dive into them, what they mean, and how to utilize them. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview of each of these 3. So the first one is cash. Money in the bank, liquid cash. When I say liquid cash, I don't mean like literal pieces of paper in your hand, although that counts too. But I mean like cash you can access right now, right? You can swipe your card, you can move it from your savings, etc. So we've got checking accounts, savings accounts, cash under the mattress, and we've also got retirement accounts. Oh, gasp. Retirement accounts? Brooke, that's for my retirement. I can't access that. One, yes, you can, especially if you have a Roth IRA, you can pull all that money out that you've put in penalty free. And your other retirement accounts, if you pull it out, it's a 10% penalty. Okay, whoa, Brooke, that's a money rule. You don't touch your retirement account. Yes, okay. Yes, when we give money to our future selves, that's money for our future selves. We want them to have that, right? And we'll talk about this in the cash episode when we really dive into this, but the energy of being your own sugar daddy is increasing your access to money if you need it or want it. It's making things a yes if you need it or want it. This isn't you have to pull money out of your retirement account, but let's put it on the table, right? That you could access it if you needed to. I have a client who she was in a very like toxic, abusive relationship and was in a job she hated. And so she used the money from her IRA, from her retirement account, to switch up her life, to start a new chapter. And now she's in a really fun, exciting relationship. She's moving to an island and she is growing her coaching business and switching jobs, living her best life, right? Because she broke a money rule because it was in her best interest. You're allowed to break money rules if it's in your best interest. So we're including that. We'll go into that more in the cash episode, but that's cash, liquid cash that you can use right now. The second C is comp, income, your ability to make money, make sales, bring money in, get new clients, get gigs, get paid more, increase your income, all of that. It is the current compensation you are receiving, the current money you're bringing in, and your ability to make more. And this is 2 things. It's like the tangible, tactical piece, right? Of this is how much I'm making, this is how much I can bring in, all of that. And then the identity of I can always make money. I can be scrappy and do what needs to get done. Even in the worst case scenario, I can bring money in, right? What are all the ways I could bring money in if need be? Also, what's my earning potential? Like, what's the vision for the kind of income I want to bring? Like, we have the tactical piece of comp and then the confidence and identity of I can always be bringing money in. I can always be compensated. That's number 2. Number 3 is credit. This is my favorite. is my absolute favorite and a little controversial because we're including your credit limits, your access to credit and loans as part of the 3 C's and how to be your own sugar daddy. So all of the credit cards you have open, all the loans that you have, and this is credit cards, loans, auto loans, like any place where you could utilize money, that is access to money. All credit is just future money. Credit is future money. That's all it is. There's no weight here. There's no like, oh, but that's bad. I can't go into debt. I can't use credit or loan. No, you have access to it though. You have access, right? Your arms, I'm for those of you who aren't watching this on video, my arms are extended. Like I want you to have arms and lines to as much money as possible. So you have access to it if you need it. Right. So if your big dreams start coming to you and start asking you to step up to the plate, and maybe your cash in the bank isn't looking like it's ready, you have a way to meet those dreams where they are. Right. And this goes for all the areas, right? But you're just allowing it to be yeses. Credit is included in that. Credit is just using future money. What future money do you have access to? It's so fun when I get notifications in my email being like, oh, your credit limit just got increased to $25,000. I'm like, well, that's fucking cool, right? Normally, I'm not really going to need a $25,000 credit limit on that specific card, but like how fun that I have access to it if I need it. And again, we're going to go into a whole other episode about credit, where we'll really dive into what this looks like and increasing accessibility in this area. So again, to remind you of the 3 C's of being your own sugar daddy: cash, comp, and credit. And we are increasing accessibility to money in all 3 of these areas. Now, increasing your accessibility and confidence in all of these 3 areas takes the pressure off of each one singularly. So if you're feeling like really pressed, if you're an artist, a creative, a freelancer who's between gigs, and you're like really pressed about not having income coming in right now, and you don't know when the next gig is going to come through, right? Your comp area isn't feeling great. I want you to look at your cash category and your credit category. And I want you to assess those and be like, okay, but I'm good in those 2 areas. So let me take the pressure off, right? I'm good. I'm safe. I'm fine. Like, let me anchor into those 2 areas. And then when the auditions come, and then let me think about how I want to focus on the comp area. How can I increase that? How can I increase my accessibility there? But you can only clearly and with clarity look at that area and how you want to increase your accessibility there from a place outside of pressure, from a place where it's not like, fuck, I have to make more money. Fuck. We don't make good decisions from that area. We don't have clarity there, right? We just make decisions from panic, and decisions made from panic are not good decisions, right? Most of the time. So you can think clearly. Another example, right? Like if you don't have a lot of cash in the bank, right? Like if you just exited a season of spending, right? Like we talked about last episode, if you just exited a season of spending and your cash in the bank is low, your brain's going to want to be like, fuck, build it back up. What are you doing? There's no cash in the bank. Your savings is so low. I want you to look at your other areas. Like, okay, but I've got 8 clients right now, and I can see the reoccurring revenue that's coming in. Or, oh, but I've got like 2 gigs lined up. One starting in a month and the next one is at the end of the year. Like I've got 2 gigs lined up. And I've also got steady money coming in from this side job that I have. And also I have 3 credit cards open, and all those limits got increased. So I have like $30,000 of credit that I have access to if I needed it. Do you see how that takes the pressure off? And then you can be like, okay, so now when I look at my cash category, that C, what do I want to do to increase it? Then your brain can like come from a creative place to be like, how do I want to focus on that and increase it? Or you're just like, yeah, my cash in the bank is just going to be low right now. I've got the gigs coming, or I've got clients coming, and I'm going to focus on that. And I'm going to take the pressure off and vibe in the ease because I've got all these different categories. It's like diversifying your sugar daddy streams of income is basically what it is. Being your own sugar daddy, but your sugar daddy isn't just coming from one area, isn't just coming from like one man giving you the money. It's coming from your own cash. It's coming from your own comp, and it's coming from your own credit. Right? You're diversifying that. So you can take the pressure off of each singular area. And these are going to ebb and flow, right? So like seasons of spending and saving and sustaining, like we talked about last episode, if you haven't listened to that episode yet, go listen to it. like seasons, right? It's not going to be like all three of these areas are perfectly aligned and have the same ability and access to money and confidence in these areas all the time, always. No, there are going to be seasons where you feel so confident in your comp and maybe not that confident in your credit, but you're like, okay, and now my credit needs a little loving and my comp's feeling good to go. And then credit blows up and your comp's feeling good. And then you're like, oh, and we're entering a season of spending, but that's okay. And then, oh, season of savings. So cash pop backs up. And then maybe you don't have a gig for a couple of months. So your comp goes down, but you're like, I'm good in these other areas. So do you see how you're building your ability to feel confident in your money no matter what? Right? You're your own sugar daddy, but your sugar daddy money is diversified, right? So you don't have to put pressure on any singular area. This allows you to be like, okay, and I'm good. And then if something comes along, like for me, it was a business coaching investment, $15,000 pay in full. Thank goodness for me, I had it in the bank, cash, and I had a credit limit. I didn't have a huge credit limit at this time, but I had a credit card that allowed me to spend exactly $15,000 on it. And I was like, oh, how fun that my brain didn't have to say, can I afford this business coach? It was, I want this business coach and I have multiple ways of paying for it. And I got to choose which way I paid for it. I did both, actually. I put it on the credit card, got some points, got some bonuses, and then paid it off with the cash in the bank. So it was my gut said yes immediately because I am my own sugar daddy. I am financially self-sufficient. I have hella access to all kinds of money if and when I need it. So my gut, anytime something comes along, gives me a yes or a no. When my business coach launched her mastermind, it was like, yep, that's a fuck yes. And I was like, all right. Cool. What options do I have? And then I got to assess my 3 C's and decide which C was the strongest, was feeling good, like my intuition could then lead me to which area I wanted to utilize to make that purchase, to make that investment. So from this place, right, when everything's a yes, and you've got your 3 C's, you're feeling confident and you've got access, you can feel ease, you can chill in your identity of being self-sufficient and also the numbers in the bank. That's why we focus on both. So many finance money people out there focus on one or the other. It's either like, we're going to look at the hard logistics and the numbers, or we're just going to be like, we trust ourselves and we're going to have all the money we need for anything. And those both are great, but they need to happen together, right? Like we want to trust ourselves, of course, and have that identity. And also the person who has the identity of, I trust myself, I've got cash in the bank, anything that needs to happen is going to happen, I'm going to make happen. That person manages their money like a financial CEO, actually is in bed with her money, managing it, doing the damn thing with it, has eyes on it, has awareness of it, right? Doing the tactical things. The people who are doing the tactical things, that's great. But if you don't have the identity of someone who's going to allow herself to use it, who is like dreaming big and like wanting bigger things to actually up level lifestyle and quality of life and impact that you have on this life, right? Then the tactical stuff doesn't actually matter because you're not actually going to be utilizing it for a fulfilling life, right? So we always need to have both. So I want to give some just quick examples of how cash, comp, and credit have showed up in my clients' lives. I had a client recently who was moving to New York and changing jobs and going through a job transition. And she used her savings, her cash, in order to make that move. She knew that New York was the place she wanted to be. So she was like, yeah, let's look at all the places you have access to money. And we're going to utilize this piece of it. So that the fact that your gut said yes to New York, we're going to get you there. You have access. Let's make it happen. Now she's thriving. I had another client who she saw this piece of land that she was really excited about. And it was like $1 million. And she was like, yeah, it was really cool, but obviously I can't get that. And I was like, can you not? Can you not? And we looked at her options and I was like, go get pre-approved for a mortgage. Just see what you could have access to. Let's increase your accessibility to money in the credit area, in the tactical, right? And she went and she looked that she could probably get pre-approved for like a $3 million mortgage. And I was like, see, now we've made it a yes. And now how do you feel now that you know it's a yes? She sat on it for a little bit and she was like, yeah, like that's so fun that I know I could have that, but I just don't think it's right for me right now. And I was like, yes, love it. Do you see how her gut made that decision? I have clients who are changing jobs, who are growing their businesses, who are creating new streams of income because they want to increase their compensation, because that's the comp piece is what's keeping them from dreaming bigger. So they're taking baby steps to increase their accessibility and their confidence in the comp area to break open their brain even more of like, what's possible? What do I want? What can I have? So these are all examples from my clients, and I shared the example of my business coach. I've had a bunch of, and I'll go into more examples in each of the different episodes for cash and comp and credit when I record those. We'll do more examples and exactly more about what those look like and what those mean. So now I want you to calculate your sugar daddy number. Now your sugar daddy number is much different than your net worth. Now, I have an issue with net worth. So for those of you who don't know what net worth is, your net worth is a calculation where you subtract your liabilities from your assets, and that number is your net worth. Liabilities are things like debts, things you have to pay off, things that are like negatives with money. And then assets are things that add value to your net worth, right? Things like the cash in the bank, things like your retirement and investment accounts, things like equity in your home, prized jewelry that's worth thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, whatever it is. Assets minus liabilities equals your net worth. Now, I don't ever have my clients calculate their net worth because I think it's a silly calculation. I think it's fine. It gives you like a baseline of what you're looking at right now at this moment. But right now, that net worth number, it probably isn't going to make you feel very good. Because one, it doesn't show you where you're going. It shows you a snapshot of immediately right now. Like you could have just had a huge increase in your accessibility with comp. You could have gotten a raise. You could have landed a huge gig or a huge role. You could have just got like a ton of new clients or launched a new business or whatever. And it's not going to show up in your net worth. That number is going to stay the same because it doesn't include like the possibility going, the actual increases of where you're going, right? Unless all of that cash hits the bank immediately and it jumps your number up. So it doesn't show you possibility. It doesn't show you like the future. Also, the other reason I don't love net worth is because it includes half of the equation is debts, right? It's assets minus liabilities. There's so much weight. And it's like, let's get rid of these liabilities as quick as possible because it's hurting my net worth. It's debt. It makes it feel like it has weight. And debt is neutral. We'll talk about that in another episode too, but debt is neutral, but it doesn't feel that way in this equation. It holds half of the weight of this equation. And it seems like a bad thing in the numbers. It's like you're subtracting it. It's minus, it's bad, it's backwards. It feels like it's holding you back. And that's not what debt is. That's the other reason I don't like it. The third reason is it's also based on speculation. Like when we talk about including like home equity into the equation or even student debt, right? Student debt could be forgiven any day now. It's what we're crossing our fingers, hoping, praying, manifesting for, right? And like home equity and like all these other like speculative what something is worth. The worth of something like that is only actually real when you sell it, when you have the cash in the bank. So it's also including speculation, but not in like a fun way that actually gets you excited about what that speculation is. It's like such pragmatic speculation. And where you speculate is where you go. So if we're going to speculate, let's speculate somewhere good. Let's get the hard facts. And then also with the speculation part, let's like add all the speculation in. If we're going to speculate about how much a home is worth, let's also speculate about where you're going income wise, what your business is going to be worth in the future. Who knows, right? So sugar daddy number, here's what you're going to calculate. You're going to add, this is all about addition. We're not subtracting anything here. It's all addition. You're adding all of your cash, what's in the bank, checking, savings, bonds that your grandma got you when you were 3 years old, cash under the mattress, retirement accounts, investment accounts. You're going to add all that together. Then you're going to add up your yearly compensation. I want you to do your yearly number, because for those of us with fluctuating income, our month to month can vary so drastically, and that's a wonderful thing. So we want to look at the overview of what that looks like over the course of a whole year. So I want you to think about, like, what's your average, right? Like, we're only 3 months into the year so far, right? But look at last year's income, look at this year's income. What are you speculating for this year? That's your yearly comp. That's the second number you're going to add in. And then the third one is your lines of credit. Oh, this one is so fun. Your lines of credit. So I want you to think about all the credit cards that you have open. What is the access to credit that you currently have? And also, let's say you currently have credit card debt, but you have a credit card that has a $10,000 limit, but you've used $5,000 of that credit card limit, and that's like a debt you're paying off. That's fine. You still have $5,000 worth of credit that you have access to that you can utilize if need be. So I want you to add up all of your lines of credit, loans that you have access to. I just got an email from my business banking that was like, hey, you could qualify for up to a like $25,000 business loan. And I was like, cool. So maybe I'll look into that and be like, could I increase my accessibility in that area, in that third C, right? Like, what's that loan look like? And that doesn't mean that you're going out and actually getting approved for credit cards and getting approved for loans, right? You're allowed to be like, if I wanted that loan, I could get it. Right? I'm going to see what like the pre-approval is. And the reason you don't want to go out and like get all these different credit cards and actually get all these different loans is because we want to be aware of your credit score and you want to like utilize them wisely, right? But what do you currently have access to, and what could you get pretty immediately if you needed to? So you're going to add that number into the mix. So you've got your cash, your comp, and your credit. And then you've got your sugar daddy number. So let's give you 3 examples. Right? Let's say you have $12,000 in your bank accounts, totaled together, your bank accounts and your retirement accounts. And then you are making, let's say, $50,000 in yearly compensation. And then you've got $20,000 in access to credit. Your sugar daddy number is $82,000. Oh, how fun is that? Let's do another example. $220,000 in your bank accounts, in your business bank accounts and in your personal bank accounts. You've got $500,000 in yearly compensation. That's what you're personally making. That's what your business is making. You're feeling good. And then we've got $500,000 in credit because you've got loans, you've got access, pre-approved for a mortgage. You've got this thing over here, $500,000 in credit. Your sugar daddy number is $1.2 million. Oh, how much more fun is that number than a fucking net worth, right? Now, net worth is fine if you like calculating it and seeing your growth. It can help you see moving up in your growth. But I venture to say, let's just track your growth with your sugar daddy number, right? As your debt goes down, your sugar daddy number will increase because your access to credit is going to increase. You pay off $1,000 of debt. That's incredible. Now you have $1,000 more of accessible credit to you in your sugar daddy number, right? As you're increasing your income, that is directly reflected in your sugar daddy number, right? Cash in the bank too, right? It's so fun because it puts you in this place of, oh my God, I could say yes to so much more than my brain is allowing me to think, to want, to desire, right? It lets your brain get imaginative and get excited. So fun. I want you to calculate your sugar daddy number and go to my Instagram. I'm going to post this week if you're listening to this in real time. And I want you to tell me what your sugar daddy number is. What this does, what being your own sugar daddy does, is it puts you back in a place of power with your money. Nothing is holding you back. Nothing, right? You don't have to say no to anything because you can't afford it, because you don't have the money for it. You do. Right? And let's say you wanted a $2 million house, but right now, like, you don't have the sugar daddy number to make that happen. But do you see how, like, even just calculating your sugar daddy number and thinking about these things this way, having access to so many different areas of money, even allows you to be like, wait, I want a $2 million house because I know that I could have it if I wanted it as I increase these areas of accessibility. Everything now is hope and accessibility, access and possibility. What a fun energy to be in with your money, right? And you make more powerful and aligned decisions from this place of I can have everything I want. So what do I actually want? That's such a fun place to be and allows your brain to, one, get creative, and one, tell you what you actually want, right? Get so clear with you. Being your own sugar daddy is half action and half identity, taking the tactical action to increase your accessibility to money, and half identity of I am my own sugar daddy. I am financially self-sufficient. I can make anything happen that I want to. So I want you to look at your 3 C's, your cash, your comp, and your credit. And I want you to look at which one do I feel most confident in? Which one do I currently feel least confident in? In the numbers, like in the actual accessibility to money in these 3 areas, which one needs my focus? Which one feels good? Which one fluctuates the most? Like, I just want you to assess like data, right? Just see what's going on, right? Take the moral weight out of it. Right? Of like, oh, I'm just not making enough money, or, oh, my bank accounts are so low. No, this is just one of the 3 C's in being your own sugar daddy. Which one do you want to put focus on and which one's feeling good? Assess. While you do that, you're also going to be stepping into the identity of financial self-sufficiency, financial CEO, being your own sugar daddy. I've got this energy. You can have anything you want, baby girl energy. I've got my own purse strings energy. I have the power to change my financial landscape energy, because you do and because you can. Thanks so much for tuning in. Come join me on Instagram for more on how to build a simple, sexy relationship with your money. My Instagram handle is @NotStarvingArtists. And if you want to dive deeper with me, head to the show notes to learn more about one-on-one coaching. If you love this episode, subscribe, leave a review, and share it with a friend that you want to get rich with.